From Studio K at Foxboro Cable Access.
Saffron is essentially the stamen of a rose.
Feeling creative?
Sage has a great flavor.
Is your palate needing a new challenge? Well, let's cook with Mike DiMascio.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another Let's Cook with Mike. Today we have a great show with some delicious food from some northern Italian cuisine. We're going to be making a shrimp in Portobello Marsala over creamy cheesy polenta. Polenta is a meal made with cornmeal, again from northern Italy. You can use it creamy, you can bake it and make it a little more firm, and you can either fry it to get a nice crispy texture. But today we're going to do a creamy style, and we're going to start with our cornmeal here. And we already have the water boiling because a TV show with waiting for water to boil wouldn't be too exciting. Just to go over some of the ingredients we have here today that we're going to be using. Obviously our shrimp in Portobello. It's a delicious, nice big Portobello mushroom that we're going to try to sear up on our induction griddle over here. We'll be using some onion and garlic in the sauce with some sage. We have some delicious vegetable broth that we made up here earlier. Some cheese for the polenta. And sage for flavoring. Sometimes people like to use rosemary with the Marsala sauce. I prefer sage. So, again, you can take any recipe, adjust it to your flavors the way you like it. So we're going to start with the polenta. I have 3 cups of water boiling in here, and I'm going to add 1 cup of the cornmeal mix, soon to be polenta. I get to work with the induction oven that I haven't worked with in a while, so it's going to take a while to get used to this. It's good to be back here in Studio K in Foxborough. All my friends, Neil and Betty and Deb, everybody's here. Paul's in the booth. All right, so we're going to just let that sit here and slowly roll for about 15 to 20 minutes. As it gets closer to the end, we will add our cheese in, some salt and pepper to give it some flavor. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start prep for the sauce. All right, so I'm going to get my gloves ready to go here. For the sauce, we are going to, I'm going to take a time out, step back. I lost control of my polenta. All right, let's reset. I'm going to do a little wipe down here first. Volcanic eruption. Ooh, watch it. All right. All right, we're going to let that slowly go. Back in business. We'll leave that right there. Okay. Back to it. Here we go. We're going to make our sauce for the Marsala sauce wine. We're going to start off with dicing some onions and garlic, and then we'll slice our mushrooms. So we want to make this, since this is a sauce, it's a kind of a clear, not a clear sauce because it's Marsala wine, but it's a brothy sauce. So we want to make our vegetables as small as we can. So we're going to do a nice small dice or small brunoise. We'll be using about a 1/4 cup of these onions. All right, so a nice small cut. That should be plenty. Put these off to the side. Take our garlic. Clean the garlic nice and good. Save all this for later. All right, again, we want to do a nice thin cut with the garlic. Again, garlic's a little rolly, so you want to make a nice flat edge so it makes it easy to cut. Now it'll be nice and steady. You can use that piece as well. We're going to, again, make nice thin cuts. All right, then we're going to take these. They're nice and long. We're going to turn it into a julienne, which is a nice thin cut, very small julienne. And then we're going to get our dice as we turn it this way. All right. So prepping for the sauce. So the next thing we're going to do, as we have our prep for the sauce here, we're going to start to sear off our shrimp. All right. For that, we're going to fill this pan with a little bit of olive oil. Sear the shrimp, and then we're going to pull it off and cook our sauce back into the pan that the shrimp was cooked in. I'm going to start cutting up some mushrooms while we're waiting for that oil to heat. You can see I'm going about a 1/4 inch thick on these. The Marsala, it's a mushroom-based dish, so you want to make the mushrooms part of the main meal, so you don't want them too thin so you don't get the full flavor. This way you'll be able to enjoy a nice bite of mushrooms while you're eating your dish. All right. Looks like one more mushroom should be good. Good. All right. So I have some cornstarch here. We're just going to a light dredge on this. This will help thicken the sauce later. Cornstarch is a little messy. I'm going to do some in the cornstarch and some without the cornstarch. But because my fingers are covered in cornstarch, they'll almost likely be covered in cornstarch. Because we are going to thicken the sauce with a little bit of flour and butter, making a light roux to thicken it. So this cornstarch will also thicken the sauce as well. So we don't want to get it too thick. So by not doing all of the shrimp, and we have a rogue tail here, we'll get in there. Delicious. I'll change my gloves. All right. After touching the shrimp, safety, you want to make sure you change your gloves, not cross-contaminate any of your foods, just in case. All right. Get that out of there. Get that out of here. Start to clear up. As our shrimp begins to sear here, we can start to focus on our sauce. All right, we got more prep here. I'm going to prepare this Portobello for us. I've already washed it, and now we're going to clean it. So to clean out a Portobello, you want to take the stem out, and then with a spoon or a dull, not too sharp of a knife, you just want to go in and get rid of all these little ribs here. Scoop them all up. You'll see I kind of make a mess when I cook. The same happens at home. Fortunately, I have my wife to help with the cleanup. All right. Our shrimp seems to be moving along pretty good. Get all my tools, everything at right at my fingertips here in Studio K. All right, while the shrimp is finishing cooking the second half, the other side, we're going to start making our sauce here with it, okay? So we're going to put all of our diced onions in here. Like I said, about a 1/4 cup. That should be good. We're going to put our garlic in, and we're going to let them cook together with the shrimp. Polenta's looking nice. Very good. All right, as this finished, gets going. I'm going to add a little bit of butter to our mixture here. Should be 2 tablespoons, should be good. Let that cook down. Then we're going to add just a little bit of flour to give a little bit of a thickness to the sauce. Salt and pepper. for that butter to melt. Then we'll add the flour. Okay, we're just going to drizzle a little bit of flour on top just to get a little thickness. Again, this is probably about 2 tablespoons, the equal amount of butter, 2 tablespoons to the equal amount of flour to make a nice roux. Turn these over, get the flour in the mixture. As you can see, it's starting to thicken up. The butter and the oil and the flour and the cornstarch all making a nice little thick mixture here for the sauce. We're going to go ahead and add our Marsala wine. Now, if I had a flame under here, the Marsala wine, I'd burn it off a little quicker with the flame, but this will take just a little bit longer to burn off here on top of our induction cookers. That's about 3/4 cup of Marsala wine. Cooking wine, any grocery store will have that for you. Okay. So we're going to get that up to a good boil. And we want to reduce that liquid by about 50%. It'll be a nice thick consistency once it cooks down. Okay. In the meantime, our polenta is looking pretty good. Get all this stuff out of our mixing whip here. We're going to add the mozzarella cheese here to our polenta. We're going to stir this right in. It's going to give us a nice cheesy texture. Very nice. A little salt and pepper. I don't usually add too much salt in my cooking, but polenta is pretty bland, so you need to spark it up with some salt. Bring out the flavors. But really, the flavor is going to be coming right here from our delicious Marsala wine sauce. That's reducing down nicely. You can see the consistency is getting nice and thick. That means the wine is reduced down, and now we're going to add our vegetable broth. Get some of the other equipment ready. Okay, we're going to bring that back up to a boil. I'm going to now cut the sage. I'm going to do it in a chiffonade cut, which is a ribbon cut. I think I've showed this trick before, but I just like to take my leaves, stack them on top of each other. They don't have to be too neat. You can do it in 2 stacks. When the gloves don't fit right, it causes a problem. All right. So chiffonade, you stack the leaves on top of each other, you roll it up. Chiffonade in French means ribbons, strips of ribbon. So that's what we're going to get once we make these cuts. You're going to get little ribbon-like strings of sage. You can do this with any herb, basil, the big leaf stuff. So it's really good to, this is how I use my basil in my marinaras. Nice ribbon cut. All right. We'll let this flavor seep in while we are bringing our liquid to a boil. Once this liquid comes to a boil, we will add our mushrooms and let those mushrooms cook in and add the rest of the remaining flavor to the Marsala wine dish. Now we just need that to boil. Let's see how we get this started here. Come on. Here we go. Okay, our last side for the meal is going to be some cherry tomatoes cooked in balsamic. What I'm going to do first with the cherry tomatoes is give them a little grill on the sear and then finish them in a pan with some balsamic vinegar and olive oil. Right. I'm just going to halve these tomatoes, cut them right in half. And one roll off the table. Nice mixture. Very nice. This is coming along nicely, nice and thick. Have to give it a taste. There we go. See how we're coming here. Again, no mushrooms yet. Delicious. All right, I'm gonna add my mushrooms in, give that the rest of the flavor it needs. I'm gonna take these. Ooh, we're getting there. All right, so I'm gonna do these tomatoes and I'm gonna do our Portobello mushroom here at the same time. Give these a little grill mark. And this is a beautiful, nice, large Portobello mushroom. We're going to cut this into almost like fillets. Do a little bit of oil. Just a little bit in my hand. Just one side so we can get a nice little grill mark on these babies. All right, messy cutting board. It's all right, I got my niece Mia back here to clean up after me. All right. It's been a while since we've been here in Studio K creating these meals. As my, the theme of this show is that we can do, these fancy meals that you might get in a restaurant that seem like they take hours to create, and we're going to do them here pretty much live. I don't make too many mistakes, but you'll never know. Paul's a great editor back there. And just to show you, you can make a meal for 4 people in no time, 20 minutes, 30 minutes or less. That's all they give me here, so that's all the time I can do it in. But you can see, and again, I'm not using a at-home stovetop. I'm using induction cooking equipment. A little tougher for me to manage, but we always seem to come out with something great here in Studio K. Always works out. So I'm going to transfer those tomatoes, which look like they're searing up nicely over there. And we're going to move them over to this pan once it gets nice and hot. Oh yeah, the sauce is looking great. Polenta is delicious, creamy and cheesy. All right, let's get these tomatoes over. Get that a little hotter. Get a little sear on these babies. We'll give them a flip once we move the tomatoes. Oh, mama. You can see you got a little char on some of those tomatoes. That's what we were going for. Flip these babies over. Oh, we get little grill marks on our Portobellos. Looks like we're on the great outdoors here. Grill marks. Looking good. All right, got that. We're gonna just blast this pan with the tomatoes with a little bit of balsamic vinegar. We got the fire smoke detectors ready for this. All right. Let that deglaze, though that balsamic will really thicken up like a syrup on here and create a nice little flavor for those tomatoes. We got that going. We got the shrimp going, polenta going. We're at the end here. Coming into a landing. We're going to get a little bit of garnish here. Clean off our parsley. Every part of the parsley is edible. You don't want to get those stems in there down towards the bottom. They're a little tougher to eat. But we're going to just give this a rough chop. I preserved a little stem over there so we can make a nice little garnish on our plate afterwards, like we're eating at a 5-star restaurant. Has any cable TV kitchen gotten a Michelin star? Because we should work on that. I think that's something we should strive for. I wonder if there's ever been a Michelin star given out to induction cooking. All right, we're getting ready to plate. I'm going to turn off my tomatoes here. Boop. They're beautiful. These are beautiful. These are beautiful. Looking great. Okay. It's time to plate. Ooh, these plates are a perfect color for the food we are presenting today. I'm going to clear off a little space here. Move this out of the way. Okay. All right, first thing we need to plate is our polenta. I'm going to put this right in the center of the plate. Beautiful. Now we're going to make one with the shrimp, and we're going to make one with the portobello. All right, so what we're going to do first is we'll plate the shrimp all around the edges. Delicious, delicious. Come on, shrimpy. Delicious. Good stuff. All right. And we'll take our portobello. Look at those grill marks, tremendous. Okay, then we're going to take our sauce and split this up between the two dishes. Just get the little stickies off the plate there. Delicious. Holy moly, this looks good. A few of our tomatoes for the plate. A little bit of our parsley. A little bit of a twig for good measure. Put that on the shrimp. Boom. Okay. After 30 short minutes of time here, we've created two wonderful dishes. The portobello mushroom Marsala over cheesy polenta, and the shrimp Marsala over cheesy polenta with the balsamic cherry tomatoes. I hope you enjoyed the show today. The recipe will be online because, Deb, I have the recipe for you. Something new and exciting. She's only been asking for 10 years. So great. It's great to be back. I can't wait to do another episode. We'll see you soon on Let's Cook with Mike.